This right back, Charlie's definitely.
Are we live? We should be live. Of course we're live. People deluded. I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. As usual, first things first, I'm very, very appreciative of you lot support, of your continued support. You know, one love to everybody who supported this thing across YouTube and Twitch. One love to the Twitch gang. Big up everyone locked in. Friday equals another podcast day. The Deluded podcast, the Really and Truly podcast, where it's a bit of a podcast, but we just talk, people. As I was saying, thank you very much for your continued support, especially as we get towards the end of the year and it's a time to really quantify how far you've come, the goals you set at the year. And for me, there's a lot of targets that I haven't hit. There's a lot of targets that I have exceeded and done a lot better. And, you know, I say I, there's no I in team. And we are a team, we're a collective. So without you lot, there would be no DG Nation. There would be no shot at having a life that I want. There'd be no reason to some level to live, really. So I appreciate you lot support from day one. You know, I support everybody, you know, whether I appreciate your support, better yet, whether you've just found out about this, been supporting from day dot. So yeah, hopefully, you know, we can celebrate more W's and all of those sort of things. As usual, with it being Friday, hope you're all having a good start to your weekend. Hope you've all had a good week, you know, from a personal point of view. As I said, goals, hopes, dreams, aspirations. Hopefully you've moved through hardship. And I know there's no Premier League football. Arsenal fans, I know we're winning and we want Premier League football, but saying that, we don't know what the Liverpool game's going to throw up. You know, Smith Rowe might make his debut today against Albania, more likely against San Marino, in my opinion, but we hope and pray for him and Ramsdale. And in relation to them two and Saka, we hope that everybody returns without any injuries. Obviously, technically, Balogun's in our first team. He did score against Czech Republic for England, and I echo the thoughts said by his England gaffer in that 23's level is too easy for him. It's like, for me anyways, when we look at Balogun, you know, he was called Young Eddie. You know, remember him and Amici? They used to run jokes, say it's Young Eddie and Young Nelson. Now, Amici, cool, we bet on Saka. Saka's doing his thing. Amici sadly injured at the moment on loan at Bolton. He's no longer relevant where Arsenal's concerned. I think we need to learn from our Balogun mistakes. Don't get it twisted. I do think there's, you know, training with the first team, all of these sort of things. It is relevant. I do think you can't just scream loan. You need to pick the right loan, because especially where Arsenal's concerned, I've seen us have guys that are 10s, Arsenal number 10s. We're sending them to teams where they play 4-4-2. People are trying to get out the league. There's a bag of experience. You can see why it's not happened where we set our players up. And obviously, Balogun hasn't been on the cusp of the first team as long as Eddie. But I want Arsenal to learn our mistakes. Like I said, I'm not at training, but I'd have to assume right now in training he might be doing well. But Eddie, NKETIAH, Lacazette, Aubameyang, these guys are doing better. Right now, he's firmly at the bottom of the pecking order. Like I said, you've got all of them players ahead, and you know he's barely got a sniff where first team's concerned. He did start against Brentford, so there are opportunities. But for me, we need to learn from the Eddie Nketiah thing in that. You know, are we trying to make him a first team player, one that can play for Arsenal or be sold on and make profit? Or are we trying to make an under 23s bully? Obviously, Eddie is playing catch up. You know, his general play for me in the last 18 months is improving. He's still young for a striker, generally at 22 or so years of age. So there is a lot of time. but minutes are currency. Obviously, he went to Leeds and it didn't really work out, but them experiences there are going to set you up better than the occasional cup game and the silly phone celebrations and things. We need to learn our lessons from Balogun. You know, we need him to be out of his, from Eddie, and apply them to Balogun. Are we trying to create a first team player? Not that he isn't already, or we trying to make a flat track bully, under 23s bully, because it's, you know, he's badding up teams, under 21s for England. You know, he's one of the probably the only under 21s in that side that isn't actually playing senior football that's within that team, saying that there has been one or two other people introduced into the scene. So for me, I would like in January, cool, he had this half of the season to show Arteta maybe I can get a look in. It ain't worked out. Send man on loan. Let him be out of his comfort zone. Play against some experienced centre halves where you have to have speed of thought. That's what reigns supreme. You know, when you're playing, when you're bullying people that you've been playing probably year in, year out, Balogun don't need to think again. You know, look at all them skills he's doing. The goal against Leicester, the lead up to the penalty against Brighton, he's doing a mazza. Saying that, as much as I don't want him to play 23s anymore, our under 23s review will be out on YouTube soon. Our under 23s, because I dealt with him and a number of players, because obviously we lost 4-1 to West Bromwich Albion. We was 3-0 down at a point. Saying that, there was a lot of young players. Our squad was impacted by injuries and people going off and playing in for their country and all them sort of things there. So yeah, I wasn't planning on speaking about that, people, but we got here in it, so I might as well make a timestamp. Arsenal need to learn from NKETIAH to develop Balogun. I mean, it's not going to make sense, but I'll chop that up. So yeah, we'll pattern that. Again, nobody cares about you lot as much as me. As I always say, one love to everybody introduced. I hope you're all taking part in the poll and things. Get your talking points and whatnot in, because I can't lie, we are struggling for content today. Of all things, there's not much going on where football's concerned, but I've been quite rude, people. What are you lot saying? Big up to Deluded Gooner. Big up everyone locked in. Hope everyone is having / had a great week. Get your talking points and comments in. Big up the DG Nation. Also, do not forget 11:30 a.m. on YouTube, and then we're back here at 10:04 on Twitch, people, where we'll be playing Football Manager, and that's us for the evening. I know what England's playing. I am differing between myself. Should I do a watch along? A part of me is not on it at all. I just want to watch it for Smith Rowe's purposes, but I'm not really on it. And I think what I need to learn next year is, I would say, management of myself, like knowing when you don't want to do something. Because for me, I'm like, it's a poor example, but it's like, you know, when you never turn the line off, in it, everyone knows what I'm talking about. You know, that one guy that never turns the line off. It don't matter if it's 6 in the morning, 4 in the morning, whatever. You never turn the line off. That's the sort of approach I have with my content. In it, I'll go hit them. Someone else ain't gonna hit it. I'll hit it. In it, you know, that's a shot for man. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, let's you know, not that I know about them things and that. In relation to, I guess, Harry Kane, P Mav, one love, because you're always in not only YouTube but here. I appreciate that, especially because you live your own life. I don't appreciate my phone putting up notifications. Oh, it's about crypto. Say nothing. Notificate them all the time. But I need all that. Them notifications are welcome, guys. Green season. But I'd be turning my attention to Haaland now long term. To be fair, they have got a meeting scheduled in January with him. And to be honest with you, I don't know if he'll join Man City. I think, considering the history he has with them and his dad, there might be. I think every elite club has a chance of Haaland, as long as you're willing to pay what Dortmund want, you know, his wages, and obviously deal with Mino Rinola, which is all probably worth it. But for me, I don't know anything. But I'd imagine Haaland knows where he's going. He's had a good year to think about it. You heard him, his agent, well, mainly his dad, his agent and advisors. They had a European tour. So a lot of things can change. But, you know, if you've toured Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, Bayern Munich, potentially Man United, City, Liverpool, these clubs, surely you know where you're going. In it, a lot can change, but surely you know where you're going. This season is just this season. So I'd be throwing my hat into the ring 100%. And I think Haaland will. I mean, you know, there's obviously Real Madrid and the lure of having him, Vinicius, Mbappe, and Oli, other guys. They even want Karim Adeyemi. Real Galacticos business. So I think he knows where he's going, but who knows, man? How you feeling, DG? Privileged to be here, because again, not many people can say they've got a support network like you guys, whether it's on Twitch or YouTube. And again, it's a pleasure to be here. Got my health, got my spirits. Obviously, getting a bit funny, if I'm honest with you, because you know, I always get a bit funny at the start of the turn of the year. I'd actually say the worst days in the year for me is the festive period. Not to sound like any Scrooge or anything, but it's one where I start thinking about my life and where I need to go and where I've gone. And it's actually a point in my life where I've dealt with a lot of personal tragedy. So I don't really. It's not that I don't like Christmas, but yeah, it is one of them. And to be honest, I don't really like my birthday because by the same logic, it's a day to put things into context. But yeah, man, apart from that, everything is cushy. I got my health, I got my spirits. As I begin to look back at the year, not to be complacent or say I've achieved anything, but I'm kind of proud of myself. You stop back and you think, right, you've done a lot and you're doing a lot. So it's good, man. Obviously, it's Friday. Just want to plow through the content. Looking forward to Football Manager, to be fair, car. Selfishly, I just want to play the game. But apart from that, it's all good. I appreciate you for asking. Stylish, I appreciate you. Man, as a former streamer, you are killing it. Keep up the awesome content. I appreciate that. Don't know if I'm killing it, but we keep trying, man. We keep trying. Smith Rowe goal plus assist. Just the debut, bro. Just the debut, so the stocks can go up. Anything else is a bonus, man. Everyone knew he needed a loan. I don't know why Arsenal didn't do it. I do think in relation to Balogun, there may have been a couple reasons. Obviously speculation in relation to what's going on with the with Lacazette, potentially Aubameyang them times and Eddie them times. You can't really let man go if they're still here. I get it. I don't condone it, but I get it. Obviously, there was COVID, there was injuries, especially to a lot of players, specifically the key players. So he probably was presented with an issue. And obviously, as much as I'm looking at it as an Arsenal thing, Balogun has to want to go out on loan. Whether he's young or naive, I get the vibe that, like a lot of them, man's at Arsenal, I want to play, and I get it, but I don't know what his advisor is saying. He might have said do it, but I think when you look past the naiveties, minutes are currency, and he was always going to struggle. Obviously, a lot of things could have went differently. The start of the season, we might have still played crap, but Balogun could have bagged one or two against Brentford, or I swear he come off the bench against Chelsea or one of them teams. He could have scored. I'm not saying he needs to, but he could have done that, and history is rewritten. It's like Martinelli. Martinelli, when he came into this club, originally meant to be 23s. Shelled it down through Emery in pre-season, took his chances in Europa. You see where man go beyond that. So we have to consider, maybe Balogun said, I'm not entertaining loans and things like that. But I just think we're playing catch up with Balogun, because it was nice to obviously see him sign a new deal. But I think last season he should have went out on loan. Obviously, with what's going on in the man's contract, he was never, I would love him to go Germany or the Premier League and all of those sort of things. But didn't Sheffield United want him at one point? At Brentford and Sheffield United, I have to assume that's Chris Wilder. Now, it hasn't Chris Wilder rocked up at Middlesbrough. I'm not saying that's somewhere to go, but if a manager wanted you, maybe his situation's the same. Maybe his situation's the same. He needs a forward. I know Akpom was over there. He didn't do too much, but yeah, man. Next week starts the Liverpool content. Looking forward to the collabs with Liverpool supporters on Twitch and YouTube. Big pressure. I'm trying. I've DM'd two. Well, I've shouted one. Let me know if you know any others as well. But yeah, man, I've shouted. I'll let you know when I've WhatsApped James Redmond. Them man, they are prestige though. So I've done it in good time. If he replies, he replies. Obviously, he's good. He's good people and things like that. I've shouted Grizz Khan as well, because I actually was meant to do some content with him. So yeah, man, hopefully we can, that's a little Twitch exclusive for you lot. Obviously, any more, let me know, because the sooner we can message them and see the feasibility, the better. But yeah, it would make sense, man, and I appreciate that, man. Balogun defo needed a loan earlier because he needs to play against players that he won't dominate against. Exactly that. Look at him against Brentford, man. I'm pulling his shirt. All of this, he's moaning to the ref. They're like, what's going on, ref? With respect to the young players that he plays against, because everyone's fighting for scholars and pro deals and all these things. Them man are not on the breadline. And like I said, you've been playing them man basically year in, year out, more or less. How much man have you? I might be playing for Arsenal. This man might be at Brighton from 7 years of age, and we always rock up and play each other. Why do you think these guys are all friends? It's the same, man, bro. Don't do a watch along, take a break, enjoy your own space. It's not even that, man. I just want to cool off, man. Just want to cool off. I appreciate that. Man said it's not happening. Agree, Balogun needs to be the one that goes on loan in Jan instead of Martinelli. DG, how you doing, brother? I appreciate that. I'm going good, man. I'm going good. As I said, I appreciate you lot support. You lot have done me dirty, because you lot have geared this towards, sorry for hitting the mic. You've geared this towards Harry Kane now, people. So yeah, we might as well speak about Harry Kane. I actually was trying to do Alex Ferguson and Wenger, Balogun, Kane, but You know, we go left and right and everywhere, people, with you lot. So yeah, obviously in relation to Harry Kane, we all know he's been anything but the typical Harry Kane. I don't know if statistics back it up, but this is uncharted territory for Harry Kane. For me, I know he's typically takes August off and then he gets to it. But to be here in December, I don't know. I mean, if City do want him, surely he's knocked about 15. I appreciate that, my guy. Surely he's knocked about 15-20 million off his price tag just by playing poorly. Because if I'm City in January, I'm saying, listen, yo, we said 100 odd million. I'm saying 75 now, 75 reaching 100. So maybe Kane's done his part. Now we all know January for several reasons is difficult to is difficult to do business for a variety of reasons. Again, it has knock-on effects. Let's be honest, Kane might not be firing. Losing Kane makes Spurs weak, because Spurs need to bring in a striker anyways, or players that score. Not Balogun, sorry. Gareth Bale and Vinicius, you know, that's 20 odd goals out of their team, you know, even with Kane. So when Kane and Son and the team aren't quite firing, you see the problems. So if they probably need to bring in a striker, if you sell Harry Kane, it complicates things for one. Obviously, everybody knows you need a striker, and obviously everybody's gonna up the prices because nobody wants to let man go. Man could sit there and say Vlahovic. I know Florentina, you know, as in City get Kane, Vlahovic goes Spurs, for example. I know Florentina clearly want to sell, man. Really, you know, if they can get 70 odd million in Jan, they'll do it allegedly. But at the same time, let's just say he's helping them get their goals. January is difficult to do business, and for Kane, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously, the season has, you know, I always think you have to get on with it, because I always think, you know, it's in your best interest to just play well, to kind of shut off and play well. If they were interested one summer and you do the business the next summer, they're going to be there again. But I understand how, you know, when you don't want to be somewhere, how you can become disheartened. And you can kind of see it indirectly with Harry Kane. Obviously, he was getting booze and things. The season's been poor. Obviously, Conte could be the thing that that revitalizes him and whatnot. But he's spoken, and you know, it was quite funny. I was looking at this. I sent it to my Spurs brethren. He got peed off. You know, the headline: England captain unconcerned by club form ahead of World Cup qualifiers. My Spurs brethren that I normally call and get him to speak here. He was moving mad. But in relation to Harry Kane, people, England captain unconcerned by club form ahead of World Cup qualifiers. Harry Kane has scored one goal for Tottenham this season. Rah, rah. Hey, we might have to get Gabriel to show him. Might even have to get Partey to show you how to score goals, boy. Boy, you know, dag. And as an ex, you know, as an ex-Arsenal youngster, I want you to get back to scoring, Harry Kane, man. He said, from my point of view, it's easy for people to make an excuse when you're not on form or scoring as many as you usually do. That's where it's important for my own self-belief, for my own mentality to just work harder. That's true. This will pass, in my opinion. Uncharted territory, but it will pass. He said, that's always been my approach, whether I'm doing really well or the goals don't quite come, is to work harder and train harder for the team. And that's what I've done my whole career, and train smarter and work smarter. In this calendar year, it's been a great year for me personally, and I hope to continue that on Friday night, people, which obviously we hope for that as well. He obviously went on to say a win would put us in a better position for San Marino, because they are both international the World Cup qualifiers, and obviously I think Brazil have actually qualified for the World Cup after the win against Colombia. You saw how mad Neymar was moving, and that I think Wales actually minimum get a World Cup playoff spot. I didn't watch it, but I think in the Ireland game, Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal's I think they won, but I think Pepe got sent off for them. I don't even know the fixtures. I try not to pay attention to international duty, but I will be watching England only because Smith Rowe has been called up. And once again, shout out Balogun. Harry Kane has also said on that as well, people, he's defended his brother over the handling of his failed Manchester City move as he reflects on a difficult summer. I mean, your brother's a rookie. You need a real agent. Like, you should have shouted Mino Rinaldo or someone that made it happen, because the way you was moving, you had to get that move. You had to. Kane's a better man than me, because I'm shameless. He was doing the most to get a City move. I couldn't deal with the embarrassment of yes, I never watched Ireland Portugal, but I think a man got sent off. Kane's better than me, because I think you've got to move shameless. When you do all of that to leave a club, and you've seen it happen before, and you've tried the best you can to get City, burn all your bridges. You're a better man than me, because for me, I'm ending up at United. I'm ending up somewhere. If City pull the plug for whatever reason, I'm getting my move somewhere. And that's where you have to look at the agent. I wouldn't be able to personally deal with the embarrassment of Harry Kane staying at Spurs. end of the day, football continues. But me, I would have been trying. It's easy for me to say, but I would have got to move somewhere, whether it's right or wrong. Mandem has said they're leaving. I'm leaving, innit? Simple as that, really. You know, family is better than nothing, really. You know, anyways, he said his brother is his agent and was roundly criticized for the handling of the move. He said, whatever the circumstances, whatever the stuff, whenever stuff is being written about your family, it's always maybe a bit difficult to take, especially when it's stuff that's negative. I heard you. Well, can't confirm it, but I remember we were speaking here once, and one of you said his only client, his brother's only client, is Harry Kane, and you've only got that because you're Harry Kane. I'm not saying family isn't the best to deal with situations, but is he? He said, but I think that's when family really comes together during those moments. Obviously, I'm very close to my brother and my parents, my wife, her family. So there's plenty of people that I know and trust and I'm able to talk to. It's never easy when there's anything negative, when there's a negative story about yourself or someone you know or your friends or your teammates. In the summer, there was a lot of stuff about my brother being my agent. That's where we stick together. I know what he does for me as an agent. I know what he does for me as a brother. That's all that matters. That's true. He also said, the rest of it is just noise from our point of view. It's just about us sticking together and whatever the circumstance, always being there for each other. And that's what we'll continue to do. That's true. You know, he also admitted to being hit mentally by both the heartbreak of Euro 2020 and obviously the move to Spurs. And obviously that's going to fuck you up personally. Pardon my language. A lot of people, I do think footballers have to get on with it to well keep spinning. And in life, you know, things could happen to you in your personal point. Pardon me, in your personal life, you might get some time off, but at some point, your employer saying you gotta get back on it, sort of thing, innit? And I think that is it with football. But I think fans forget that. And obviously, if you're not happy in your working environment, in natural 9 to 5 regular jobs like us, you know, you're not gonna perform to the best. And I think when you look at people like Kane, there's also that the man don't want to be there. Like obviously, time's a healer. You can get over it. We've seen it many a time, but the man don't want to be there. Can we be surprised why it's not? You know, there is obviously a degree of him needing to do better, but is what it is. I don't think Kane is fully fit. There's obviously that as well. I back Kane to get among the goals again, innit? I always back Kane to get among the goals. The man living, breathing goals. The only man that can really say they live and breathe goals more than him in the league is probably Mo Salah and Cristiano Ronaldo. The man's a great player, and you know you don't lose that quality overnight, but it is a bit of a hangover. And I feel at various levels, a lot of people, whether they were playing on a regular basis in the Euros, and there's other situations surrounding it, not just the Euros. I think a lot of these English boys, you know, a lot of them have this Euros hangover, whether they were kind of playing there or not. Not everyone's kind of moving mad in the league this year. So it is what it is, people. He said, you go through the highs and lows of a major tournament, coming so close to the dream and it being taken away from you in such a quick moment. Then it was my first summer of transfer speculation and having to deal with those situations. So, of course, it takes a toll mentally on yourself. But from my point of view, I've always had good friends and family around me. Being able to talk to them in those situations, being able to talk to people you trust when things are difficult, it's important that you talk about it and don't just hide and suck it up. But it's important that you have people around you that you can trust to do that. That's what I've done. And he also went on to say he's not looking for excuses once again over his club form, people. So, yeah, man. And he went on to say, in fact, specifically on that, he said, well, from my point of view, it's easy for people to try and look for an excuse when maybe you're not on form or you're not scoring as many as you usually do. And then he went on to speak about training hard and whatnot. And he said, obviously, there's not been many spells. For example, for my club, not scoring as many as I've scored so far this year. But in terms of the England calendar year, it's been a great year for me personally. And I hope to continue tomorrow night. He also went on to say he expects a tough clash against Albania, as I'm sure everybody listening does as well. So that's Harry Kane. Let me actually make sure I'm clicking off these things so I can actually see what's going on. What else have we got? Big up you lot in the comments. I don't know if I'm paying near 100 mil for a 29-year-old that's not Messi. Ooh, harsh on Kane, man. I think I would do it. But I hear you, man. But saying that, what? 29, 30, 31, 32. I think Kane's going to at least give you 4 years. And to be fair, if you win a title when you do whatever, you know, I think if Kane plays for City in that final, I think they win it because 9 times out of 10, you look at Harry Kane and, well, not Harry Kane, Man City, and you say they're so good, they don't need a striker, which is true. But at one time they do. There's occasions where it happens. So, and someone like Harry Kane, I do think Harry Kane's one of these players, a bit like Marcus Rashford, in that these men are always injured, lengthy layoffs, and then they just come back straight away. And I think that could come back to hurt them one day. But I think Kane's game isn't reliant on pace. He's a very street smart striker. So I think he'll keep scoring goals. I do think if you don't get, and we were saying it last year, but I do think if you don't pattern this move between now and summer, then that's it now. it's a Spurs thing, innit? Like it's done now if you don't pattern the move. So it is what it is. If at Arsenal's worst, they can't get game time, then there's little chance where Arsenal are on the up. That's harsh, but at the same time, you know, I can't really call for Mikel Arteta to give 1,000 young players opportunities because, again, does playing Balogun, you know, many people say Arteta should play Balogun, he should play Balogun, he should get Balogun. But then they also say Arteta needs to get 3 points, he needs to get 3 points, you need to do this. I think fans at times, they want everything. They want a million young players. They want to be competitive where you've got to give and take. If you're going to play Balogun ahead of Aubameyang or Laka, you know, there's going to be chances he might look like a baby out there, duck out of water. He might not score a goal. The other team go up and score. He's still developing. And at the same time, I know we can't get gassed off of 10 games, but we found some stability. We found something in it. I can't be asking Arteta to disrupt that. You know, Martinelli ain't really done enough to say he deserves to play on the left-hand side along ahead of a Smith Rowe. You know, Smith Rowe can be shoehorned there, Bamian the same, and the other options. But, you know, I can't really say him, Martinelli, or specifically Balogun should get a chance right now ahead of NKETIAH. I think he should because he's going to be here long term. But has he done more in the chances he's been given? Not that he's been given as many as others. No. You know, has he? Is it worth disrupting Lacazette and Aubameyang's partnership, or them both in the team? Is it worth disrupting any other fragments of the team? Because we're 10 games unbeaten. You know, we've got Liverpool. Is it worth it? Obviously, if we start dropping points, it opens up another question. There is a little bit of football left where Balogun might be able to open up the door and elevate himself. But at this moment in time, it's not going to happen really and truly, especially as, you know, it's probably the worst time not to be a young player, but to be on the fringes of Arsenal because there's not too many games for you. You know, there isn't too many games. You might get FA Cups round the corner soon. We've had a couple League Cup games, you know, unless it's, God forbid, unless something mad happens like at the start of the season where we have to use people, there's not going to be too many available spots for playing first team football. It's as simple as that. So yeah, man. It's one of them ones, really. One love to you lot tuned in. Make sure you're all on YouTube at 11:30. What's your thoughts on Greece Spain? Never watched it, so I don't really know. If you know, I don't know if you're talking about an upcoming game or one that hasn't. But yeah, man, I don't know because I'm not in tune with what's going on. 350 a week wages. That's chicken change to City, to be fair. DG, there's a rumor of NDD joining Real Madrid. And if it does happen, how do you think it will affect Leicester? Well, Leicester will surely get some money to spend and they'll need to replace him. For him, I couldn't turn down Real Madrid. For Real Madrid, I don't think that's necessarily the best target, but it is what it is. 75 million for 4 years plus 20 goals a season. Striker sounds like good business to me, bro. Don't know. During AFCON, if Martinelli stinks out the place, he needs to be loaned in the summer. Think Kane will be perfect in the Laka role, and I suppose that's the system that will get the best out of Kane again. You know, he does like to drop 10. I can't lie. Went for England. I hate when Harry Kane drops. It's like, bro, I hear it, but I'm looking on the pitch. I'm seeing Mount, Grealish, Foden. Like, bro, your tenting is not needed. Like, play up front, play like a throwback striker, and do what you need to do. It's as simple as that, man. Aguero might be forced to retire. I've seen that as well, people, which again, you hope that's not the case. Let me share my screen with you guys. I hope that's not the case. Obviously, as you lot know, he had a heart problem and was taken off. Aguero may no longer play football due to a serious heart condition. According to Catalonian radio, the Barcelona player is aware by doctors that depending on how his heart disease evolves, the options of playing can be cut. Now, hopefully that isn't the thing, you know. But what I will say is, while it might be a bitter pill to swallow, not being able to kick a football again, we've got to remember Aguero's a father. You know, football is what ends at 35, bro. You're being a father until your casket comes in it. So again, if conceding your football career means you're actually able to continue being a dad and an uncle and whatever you're doing, then fair play. Obviously, it's a bitter pill to swallow, and we hope that there's nothing serious where Aguero is concerned. You know, you hope him, you hope Ericsson, you hope anyone that's had a heart issue can get on playing again, people, because it's a dream to be a footballer. And, you know, Aguero said it was his dream to play for Barcelona. He's gone there. It's been a nightmare, really and truly for him. You know, he's not been able to stay fit. And then now you've got the heart issue. I say nightmare only because of that. This could be a blessing because obviously, God forbid, if certain things didn't happen, you might not never known you've had a heart issue, and touch wood, pause, and you never advocate something. But it's better you find out now than you go through later on in life, and then, you know, sometimes you might not find out until it's too late, until something serious happens. So I won't say it's a blessing, I won't say it's one of them, but it's better to find it out now than when things can be more serious, sort of thing. And that goes for everybody's health, really. So yeah, man, we're hoping for Sergio Aguero that is nothing serious. Well, it's something extremely serious, but you're hoping he's just simply put able to continue playing as well, man. That's a shag, really. Maybe forced to retire. Uh, my guy Ashty, I'm gonna speak about Kulusevski at 11:30, but I think Kulusevski is a player that Arsenal have wanted since 16. I want him. I think he can play in a couple of positions. So yeah, he can play as a cam, he can play as a deeper midfielder, he can play on the flanks, he can do it all. So yeah, in short, I'm on it. Really sad news about Aguero, broski. Really sad news, man. And this is it. Life is precious, and being a father to your children is the utmost importance. And obviously, I'm looking a bit ahead, but grandfather as well. So again, if your football career is conceded, yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you're still able to be a family man. As simple as that, really. And you know, nothing can replace kicking a football around. But yeah, man, your life is your life. You ain't got life, you're dead, in it. It's as simple as that. Like, there's no way around it. Away from all of that, though, I didn't speak about this at my 11:30 live stream on YouTube, and I kind of wanted to go over a couple of Arsene Wenger things, people. So with that being said, it's Arsene Wenger and Alex Ferguson time. Saying that, is it really? What's going on with it? With this? This ain't it. Alex Fergie Wenger. When those he's been talking, we got a lot to speak about, really. This is what we had. I don't know what that was all about. One love to you lot tuned in and all them things there. But Sir Alex Ferguson claims Thierry Henry's arrival at Arsenal turned his rival with Arsene Wenger toxic, but he pays tribute to his old adversary and admits the invincible season stands above everything else. Now, we've covered a bit of this, but I just want to see the bit where Henry links into Sir Alex Ferguson and Wenger's beef. Big up Wenger and big up Fergie. Two of my granddads. You know, four granddads, two of them are white, one's Scottish, one's French. Love them both. But obviously Ferguson spoke not only of Wenger's influence, but Thierry Henry, people. You know, he arrived in 1999 from Juventus, having struggled to make an impression as a winger. Obviously, he turned the table. And you know, the season before 1999, what happened and what tipped the balance for Man United to go out there and do the treble? What happened the year before, if you're old enough to remember? And obviously, we've had some good clashes. He said it became toxic for a while. The big change that Arsenal made was reinventing Thierry Henry and the goals. He was fantastic, and you tried to get him as long as you tried to get him, Patrick Vieira, and Tony Adams, as they've all said. You always look in the rear mirror to see who's coming behind you, and when you see someone, you accelerate. And it was good for the league. Like I said, there is no Klopp, no Jose, no Pep, none of these guys, unless Wenger came true. You know, Wenger walked so these man, you know, Wenger ran, sprinted so these men could walk. You know, and I think it's quite surprising. You know, he was the first international manager to win a Premier League, a championship title in this country, a top division championship title. But an English guy still yet to win it in my lifetime, or in general, I believe. It's crazy, isn't it? And it's true, you know. I don't know how this made it toxic. This is just sounding like it drove the competitive nature between the two teams, you know, really, really and truly. Currently, you know, I won 13 titles, but I was never near going through a season undefeated because maybe, you know, you didn't have to. You could pay off refs and that. The achievement stands above everything else, and it was Arsene's. Fair play, man. I think Fergie's capping a bit, but I respect it, man. Bit of an overkiller, you know, a bit of the headline sensationalized things. I thought it was going to be madder than that. Wenger, and it's about to get teary. Am I still in love with Arsenal? Of course. Of course, my life is in red and white, and that will remain. Of course, I'm still in love with Arsenal. I tackle, I shoot, I defend, I attack during every game, of course. My life is red and white, and that will remain, especially as I don't manage anymore, so I don't have any other commitment. This is a real love story on my side that will never stop. I must say that I arrived here at the age of 47. I came out from a village and was 10 years at the top in France. After I went to Japan, which was a risk completely to my career. Then I came to England at 47 and stayed until I was 69. I gave this club the best years of my career, and I'm very happy having done that. I've said many times that I many times had the opportunity to leave. I didn't do it because I felt I could work in this club and generate values that will remain after me. You have already. Look at Halen. the day I can look at what I did and I'm happy, I'm grateful to Arsenal because I could do my job like I wanted to do it. Of course, with the ups and downs, be with my team. We were happy to work without any compromise on what was important to us, which were the values that were important to us. Not every manager has that luck. That is why I'm grateful for such a long period to do that. And yeah, man, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure I'm definitely going to the cinemas to watch this thing. I'm probably gonna go one man up still and watch this Arsene Wenger thing. I don't want no one to see me cry, bro. I can't lie. When Wenger left, I ain't cried too many times since I've hit a certain age, which is not a proud thing to say. It's quite toxic, really. But I remember when Wenger left, Wenger, I was bawling. If I was about what I was about 26, if I was about 20 years younger, bare boogers coming out. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. That's where Arsene Wenger's concerned. Stepping away from all of that, though, people. As you lot know, I think you've all seen every Premier League club has rejected the biannual World Cup and the plans for that. But the Premier League, because of next year's World Cup anyway, is going to be in the winter. They've come out and obviously revealed the calendar, people. But first, I just want to speak about the Premier League clubs. The Premier League clubs have rejected it as well, and the Premier League have publicly declared their opposition to FIFA's muted biannual Men's World Cup. And certain players have criticised it. Van Dijk and Courtois, off the top of my head. Arsene Wenger said it's a very emotive response. But yeah, as we know, FIFA are currently exploring the possibility of doubling the frequency of their showpiece tournament when they reform the international match calendar after 2024. People, a Premier League statement said all 20 Premier League clubs have discussed the post 2024 international match calendar reform processes and are unanimously opposed to FIFA's proposal of a biannual Men's World Cup, alongside with any plans involving significantly extending international windows. Clubs raised concern about the negative impacts FIFA's current proposals would have on player welfare, the fan experience, pre-season preparations, and the quality of competitions, people. And apparently Richard Masters, the chief executive of the league, said the Premier League is committed to preventing any radical changes to the post-2024 FIFA international match calendar that would adversely affect player welfare and would threaten the competitiveness, calendar structures, and traditions of domestic football. We are open to reforms and new ideas, but they must enhance the complementary balance between domestic and international football in order to improve the game at all levels. This process should also involve meaningful agreements with the league that provide the foundations of the game. It went on to say we will continue to work with supporter groups, players, domestic and international stakeholders to find solutions that are in the best interest of the football's long-term future. And going back to Qatar 2022, that's 2024 or after 2024, 2022, apparently the Premier League is to have a break of more than 6 weeks for the 2022-23 season. As you know, winter time, the World Cup's bang straight in the middle, really. And next year's going to be an interesting one, really and truly. You know, I mean, any sponsors out there or broadcasters, if you need a presenter for Qatar, shout me. That could be a good look. But the Premier League will have a mid-season break for more than 6 weeks in 2022-2023 to accommodate the 2022 Qatar World Cup. And, you know, the calendars can get fucked by then. On Thursday, it was announced the next campaign should stop after the week of the 12th/13th of November before fixtures resume again on the 26th of December, on Boxing Day. The season will also begin a week earlier than normal on the 6th of August and finish a week later on the 28th of May, people. The Champions League and FA Cup finals will therefore be pushed into June. Confirmation of the Premier League dates comes after clubs were shown in an outline calendar at a shareholders meeting in September. As you know, or if you don't know, the World Cup next year, 2022, runs from the 21st of November until the 18th of December, people. And apparently FIFA has said players must be released on the 14th. So obviously there's a knock-on effect on, you know, yeah, I hear you're going off to play in the World Cup, but can you stay with us as long as possible? Can you rush back? Players need rests and all of these sort of things, people. It raises things into calendar, people, into confusion. And obviously that would have taken 7 rounds out of Premier League games and the final 2 Champions League group stages from this season's match calendar. It's understood, UEFA is planning to complete the group stage of next season's competition before the World Cup, which will obviously create a heavier fixture congestion. So clubs are going to need bigger clubs and bigger squads, and obviously footballers are used like guinea pigs anyway. So you've got this, and you'll probably see the effects of this for at least the next 18 months to 2 years following that. And then you've got a potential biannual World Cup. You've got, you know, maybe Super League. You've got all these things. This is why I always say if anyone deserves it, it's the footballers, because they are guinea pigs to shareholders, to stakeholders, to organizations, to all of these guys. And the money they make is pennies. You can imagine the fight for brand partnerships and all of these things with the Premier League, with the Champions League, and with the World Cup. Next year is going to be a goldmine realistically, and they know exactly this. Obviously, it's being staged in November and December because temperatures can reach up into the 50s in summer months. So it's a myth playing the World Cup in Qatar there. You know, it raises health problems and the rest of it, people. So it is what it is firmly in that regards. Away from that as well, folks. The latest on Norwich, apparently Dean Smith, the ex Aston Villa gaffer. You know, you're never meant to go directly straight out of one relationship into another, but he seems to be on the rebound. And for what it's worth, allegedly Norwich City have been impressed by Dean Smith's interview. Apparently Lampard has held further talks about replacing him, and they've also looked at Boulder Glitch head coach Knutsen. Now, if you've obviously, I can't pronounce that team's name, but I'm pretty sure that's the gaffer of the team that's been, you know, giving Jose Mourinho's Roma in Europe a couple of games for their rounds for their money in terms of games, people. So yeah, people, I can't lie. I think I would probably stay away from Lampard. I don't know if he's got enough about him to do that. I know he got top four with Chelsea, but he also spent 200 odd mil, and I don't think he's the most experienced, which Dean Smith has over him. There's an element of the unknown about my man, people, which I don't know too much about him, but you know, from what I read here, the Knutsen guy, he's turned his current team from relegation candidates to first-time Norwegian champions. And as I said, they beat Roma 6-1, and they play good football, you know, they bop it. So I think that would probably be a good signing for Norwich. But as you lot know, he's not name brand really and truly. So the race for a new gaffer is down to the wire. Apparently, Smith and Lampard are both understood to have been very impressed with what they heard about the Norwich job, the structure of the club, and the board's plans for the future. And obviously, relegation is something they have to consider. So they have to probably concede that whatever manager we're getting in, that's someone we're going to bet on, people. Apparently, Smith is seen to hold all the necessary skills and experience to be successful at Carrow Road. Obviously, he's guided Villa to promotion, and he's shown he can keep a team up. So again, that's something Norwich are going to have to consider. Hassan Hutu was on the list, people, but again, they can't get him away from his job at Southampton. Apparently, where these lot are concerned, apparently they're determined to stay in the league. So make of that what you will, really. You know, if they're determined to stay in the league, which could be very interesting. So yeah, it is what it is. Where his new job is, and obviously Eddie Howe's been going to allegedly be backed in the January window, people. So that's that in relation to everything I had to cover. What else are you lot saying? To be fair, DG, he got top four before he spent the money. I said that. I said he got top four when they had the ban, and then he showed he's a fraud. And my big problem with Lampard is he typifies privilege in life and football. Fair enough, he got top four. He did, you know, he played the Cobham Boys. The minute it wasn't a thing to, you know, you didn't have to play the Cobham Boys. It weren't a necessity. You had options. He quickly stopped betting on a lot of them. And again, I've never seen someone just chilling with Freddie Flintoff and James Corden somehow get the Derby job, whether it's because of privilege, whether it's because of who his uncle is in the Red Nap and whatnot. It could be, you know, he's very much a privileged guy. You got to remember, this guy's dad was in football. He's in football. It's almost like Lee Johnson at Sunderland. These guys don't really have to earn much. You know, he got the Derby job off doing nothing, you know, didn't do nothing at Derby, then rewarded for failure with getting the Chelsea job because of who he is as a player, not as a manager. Lo and behold, when it was time to spend money, he showed he's a fraud, really and truly. I don't think he's going to be a bad manager forever. I think he's got ability. I just don't understand why he's been given all of this stuff. And again, I do back one thing I think he'll do well at Norwich is play Billy Gilmore. But if I'm trying to stay in the league, what is Lampard as a gaffer? It's a myth, really and truly. And he wasn't ready for the Chelsea job because again, you can't. There were some of the things you do, and you can't behave like that. You got to be a bit humble. I love Lamps, but he makes all the wrong decisions in his manager career. He wouldn't have come to Chelsea so early, and he's got to a dead job at Norwich and rejected better. To be fair to you, I wouldn't have turned down Chelsea if I was him because end of the day, man's got that on the CV, and like you lot know, he got top four, so he's not a bad guy. I think he will learn a lot. It's a bit like Arteta, though. It's like these guys, what they get in these jobs on a lot of propaganda, really and truly. not actually what they're bringing to the table. But for Norwich, they need someone. For me, if you're going to go down, he can help you get back up and put some long-term embedded changes into the club, which I don't know if that's what they can do. I don't know if that's their angle, really and truly. So we'll have to see how that one develops. Away from that, though, people, and obviously shout out to Rance and Matisse. But as you know, I was on Rance's show, Rance's channel for, you know, with the show I do with Rance and Matisse, and they spoke about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, or there was a thread. Now, I will say disclaimer. Don't know if any of this is true, but if it is, then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and apparently he's on holiday right now, is, you know, he's a wrong, and there's no way around it. And I know there's corruption in football. I know there's brown envelopes, but there's, you know, there's a limit. And look at here, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Jim Solback, and two of the biggest crooks in football. And again, multiple dodgy transfers, an academy funded with oil money. I mean, it's not right, but you've seen that happen before. But for me, helping a serial rapist avoid charges. Now, for me, if you know what jungle justice is, you know that's jungle justice, in it. I just watched all 8 of your ads. I appreciate that, my guy. Things like that keep the channel going, man. Support the channel by watching the ads or following on Amazon Prime. It costs nothing, and this is why I like Twitch, because, you know, it just feels like Twitch, you put in the same effort, you get a bit more rewarded. YouTube, you put in hella effort, and it's peanuts, really. But looking at this thread, you know, apparently, just to set the scene here, this isn't the average manager-player-agent relationship. Jim Slowbacken has been involved with Ollie since 1991. They were business partners with multiple joint ventures, and he is the godfather of Ollie's children. Whilst Ollie was playing for Manchester United, him and Slowbacken were running a business. We're running yearly training camps for young players under the company name Dynamic Solutions. This was funded by the Norwegian FA and a state oil company. In 2008, when he became reserve manager at United, Ollie was forced to sell his shares to Slowbacken due to FA regulations, not allowing a manager to be involved with this kind of company due to conflict of interest. Over the years since then, there have been multiple reports in the Norwegian media of Ollie having money stashed away in offshore accounts and payments being paid to him from Dynamic Solutions. Now, that's not right, but it isn't something I could say I'm going to kill a man for, because they all do this in this football thing. So, again, for me, it's the rape thing. You are wrong for that. And then obviously, you know, you did see a number of Norwegian players sign for United. Some of them went away and signed back for Molde, as you saw with Magnus Wolf Ikkim and Molodao. I actually remember them in United's academy. And they obviously, Josh King could be thrown in. Another player involved here was Mame Briram Giroud, another player that hardly played for United alongside Ollie's reserve team. Another player represented by Slowbacken. Another player from Molde. This one is a little more complex with all the sorts of shadiness going on. Slowbacken was alleged representing both clubs and the player himself in this deal, something clearly in breach of a load of regulations. Despite claiming to not be Diof's agent, Slowbacken claimed an absolute ton of expenses for Diof. So he's representing both and he's claiming expenses. So he's doing the dirty. There's greed there, innit? There's a lot more on Diof, but I don't want to clog up the thread. Apparently, he said another one was Josh King, which obviously he's gone on to have a half-decent career in the Premier League. And then obviously it threw in Anders Lindegaard. And it also went on to say, you know, that there's been a lot of dodgy involvements. A couple of other parts of the situation with Lindegaard. Whilst this was going on United, United were negotiating with Slowbacken to release Ollie from his contract to go manage Molde. Lingard's former agent claims that Slowbacken poached his client just before all of this. 2010, Ollie becomes Molde manager. During his time, he signed multiple Enike and Slowbacken clients. So again, dirty money. Again, not right, but I wouldn't say it's something I'm going to kill a man for. Again, I'm trying to get to the unfortunate bit that we saw. You know, they're moving dirty. He went to Cardiff, people, signed up some more clients as well. So the man's doing dirty. By 2015, Ollie had been sacked from Cardiff and sent back to Molde. The signings are moved by Slovakian at a huge loss to Cardiff. Again, he signs, Ikram for Molde. This is now the 4th time in 6 years he signed him. Wouldn't be surprised if he rocks up at United soon. Now on to the main event. During his time, he signed Babakar Sarr from Sogndal. At this point, he had he had already had one rape accusation against him, didn't stop Ollie or Slowback from signing him. Now, this is where I start to look at people very dodgy, because there's certain things that you can't come back from. And again, I don't need to say it. You know, we don't condone rape. We don't condone any of these sort of acts to anyone and any madness like this. And you should have the book thrown at you. And if we wasn't on a public thing and there's tangible evidence around you supporting this, Ollie, then it's a jungle justice thing for everyone, rapists and everyone that protects them, and they just got to dash them in the bin. I'll say that nicely. In 2017, he was accused of raping another 2 women. In 2018, he was finally charged with one of them. One of them claimed to have given birth to his child. Despite this, Mulder continued to play him. He was their vice captain and captained the team twice whilst on trial. During this time, fans of multiple Norwegian clubs attempted to take an anti-rape banner into the stadium, only to be refused entry. This one at an away and translates to sugar daddies, a training camp in a slave state, and a rapist, Mold FK, a disgrace to Norwegian football. There's also various reports of police effectively acting as paid security for Mulder. 2 club fans attempted to take banners into Mulder Stadium, only to be refused entry and banned for life. During this time, whilst Sarr was awaiting trial, Ollie was asked about it post-game and was clearly visibly unhappy at being pushed on it. Is it right for you to play Sarr? So far, we have to play him. That's what the club stands for. We have chosen to trust the player. What do you think about it? Okay, that's it. Let's talk about the game. You can ask the boy how the club has supported him. Trial happens. The Norwegian justice system is very complex and works on a probability basis. He was not charged on a criminal level, but was ordered to pay compensation to the victims. Both parties appealed this verdict. Sarr refused to provide a blood sample whilst the trial was going on. Just a few days before he was due in court, he was released from his Mulder contract with the club, thanking him. Quick note here, Manchester United were negotiating with Slowback and at the time for Ollie to be permanent manager, so it's highly likely they were aware of the situation. Sarr was due in court on... I'm going to type your name in on Google. I need to educate myself. Sarr was due in... Oh, sorry, folks. Sarr was due in court on the 14th of February. Between these 2 court dates, he was accused of raping another woman after an end-of-season team party, somewhere he wouldn't have been if Mulder hadn't continued to play him. I mean, burn this guy on a stick, man. What's all of this about? A few days before he was due in court, Sarr signs for a Russian team in Russia with the help of Jim Slovenbach, with both of them confirming the move on Instagram. Russia is a place that has no extraction treaty with Norway, so again, he wouldn't be demanded back to go and face trial. And to be fair, this might be talking about Slowback, but I can't see Ollie saying anything there. Oh shit, well, I can't see Ollie's name there, but yeah, I'm just clicking on the text. Babakar Sarr then fails to attend court. The trial is rearranged yet again for June that year, just before the trial was due to start. With the help of Slovak, and he signs for a team in Saudi Arabia, a place even harder to extradite anyone from. The last anyone has seen or heard Babakar Sarr was in January 2020 when he played for Denmark FC. Again, Babakar Sarr, if I'm mispronouncing. One of his victims did an interview with the Telegraph. Raw, you know, we have to click that and rise up some evidence. Apparently, you know, Man United refused to answer the following questions. Apparently, Manchester United issued a response in relation to that. Oh, well, you can't even click that, so we can't see that. Ollie was asked about in a press conference and was clearly rattled. This part of the press conference was hidden away and not published anywhere from Man United's website behind the paywall. I'm not gonna watch that because obviously there might be copyright things, that there's issues here. You know, apparently Jim Slowback agreed to do an interview on the subject and then backed out at the last minute and decided to give a statement instead. Again, you know, I'm not going to click on any of that, but yeah, can't find any of that, people. What happens next? Who knows? But one thing is for sure, Babakar Sarr's career in football is over. There's no trace of him anywhere since January last year, and his Insta has been set to private for months now. And just before it starts, I won't be arguing with anyone. Well, if you think this is some kind of conspiracy theory or anything, make of it what you will. So again, there's a bunch of credible places for him where we can look at, but move, man, I don't want no trial, man. Are you on such a sensitive subject? You man are running that. Quite sad. But yeah, man, if we change that to English, do you know what? I don't even want to show you lot these things again. So you lot go and do your own research. But yeah, pretty damning, innit? You know, pretty damning. Protecting rape accusers and all them things there. protecting rapists is actually the term, innit? Man, of protecting rapists, bro. Again, and I know you shouldn't always answer questions, but for me, when it comes to child abuse, rape, domestic violence, all these sort of things, you know, and God, my heart goes out with anyone that's been a victim of such and stuff like that. But any of these things, I know there's an element of not talking, but me personally, if them things there are thrown against your name, you need to come out and quash them, because them things stick. Even you see, there's even people that they've cleared their name, they're innocent. You'd be like, oh, what, Joe Blogs? What, I swear he had the rape thing or he had this thing. Them things there stay to you for life. So again, you know, you want to get that written off, but it is incredibly booky. It's incredible cover-up stuff and whatnot. It's incredibly dodgy. Like I said, you know, you lot can focus on the transfers and all of that. Transfers are irrelevant when you're protecting rapists, a serial rapist at that, one that has just gone about his business and done everything, and just you're even helping him run out the country and stuff. It's crazy, bro. Crazy. But I don't want to just leave it on a sour note like that. So what else are you lot saying in the comments, man? As I said, heart goes out to all the victims and that. Shout you lot that are tuned in on Twitch. You lot make Twitch for what it is, man. Without you lot, there is no Twitch gang, there is no DG Nation and whatnot. Have I missed out any comments? As I said, people, I'm live at 11:30, folks. I'm live at 11:30. Let me get a link for you guys. One love to everybody listening to this on the replays on YouTube and obviously Spotify and Apple Music and all those things. Everyone watching this live on Twitch, I appreciate you. Last question before I get out of here. Obviously, I've just dropped a link, 11:30 on YouTube. Hit a like button and all those sort of things, man. Last question. Do you think Lampard's better than Farke? I think he will be, but currently, I think Farke is clearly more experienced, more practical. But saying that, I've never seen Lampard at this moment in time being relegated and he got top 4. So again, maybe Farke could do that, but I'd say he's probably given more to the game as a gaffer. So make of that what you will. I'd probably prefer Lampard, but there's no evidence really to suggest that I'm right in those claims. So yeah, on that note, as I said, I'm live at 11:30. I appreciate everybody that's been tuned in. I'm back again on Twitch at 4:10. That's Football Manager business. Couple of Football Manager videos will go online on YouTube as well. Like I've actually been trying to get it processed. It's been processing since this video's come out as well. 4 minutes. I'm trying to, you know, if you didn't watch it on live on Twitch in real time, I've cut up the FA Cup clip, FA Cup hour. You know, we streamed for 3 hours, so I put them all into 3 individual hours. Wanted the FA Cup final to come out because I'm playing tomorrow as well, and we got other couple bits and pieces as well. YouTube is coming like a series, man. There's a serious catch up, really. But yeah, man. I'm going to love and leave you lot and see you lot in a bit. It's been a fantastic live stream, as it always is. Somehow we've managed to stay here for an hour or so and persist. Again, make sure you're following and subscribing if you haven't. Better than that, stay in good health. I hope you've all enjoyed your week. Enjoy your weekend. Hopefully you stick around for the content. But if not, I appreciate what you've given in this hour or so. Stay safe, stay blessed. I'm back on YouTube at 11:30, 4:10 here on Twitch. I'm out.
Because you always use that active red light, defending.
I think it's like